بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على رسوله محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين أما بعد. Whilst before we go into a reflection with brothers and sisters, can I request everyone that's here, including the sisters if you want to join in, can everyone stand up please? In fact, I'll do the same thing. Can I ask everyone to stand up? By the way, if you do have any sort of illness, it doesn't mean everyone. I want all the brothers and sisters, everyone to stand up. And I want you to take a couple of steps forward, inshallah. Just one step forward if you have to. Okay, Bismillah, take a seat now. You might be wondering why I've asked you to do that. It is because to double the reward. Okay? Because today is all about reward. You sat in one majlis, you were sitting in one place, which was the majlis of listening to the Qur'an. Now we're in a different majlis. We're in a total different setting, which is about reflections. And again, so it's as though you've made a double effort. 2 in 1, you go shopping, you get buy one, get one free. So the same concept applies in every part, in every aspect of life. Jazakallah khair for indulging me. Whilst the judges quickly nominate and look after the results, very briefly, I want to share with you a couple of reflections. First and foremost, brothers and sisters, one of the most important questions, I want to do two reflections. One reflection is based on the dunya, based on what's happening around the world. And one reflection is based on individuals and as our lives. First and foremost, brothers and sisters, why are Muslims, why is the world in distress? When you look around you, when you look at social media, when you look at the news, wherever you look, why is everyone in distress? A simple answer to why the world is in distress and why the world is in discomfort is by an answer given by a famous man by the name of Hifdh rahmatullahi alayhi. Hifdh rahmatullahi alayhi from India, during the World War I period, he was imprisoned in Malta. Hifdh rahmatullahi alayhi, after being freed from Malta, from imprisonment, he came back to India. And upon returning, Hifdh rahmatullahi alayhi gathered all of the scholars. It's a big majma, big gathering. And he said to all of his students, Mufti Shafi Sahab, Maulana Anwar Shah Kashmiri rahmatullahi alayhi, Shaykh Hakim al-Ummat rahmatullahi alayhi, all of these people were there. And he said to everybody, he said, spending that time in prison, I've come to learn two things as to why the ummah, why the Muslims, why the world is in discomfort and why the world is disunited. And can you imagine, this is the teacher of teachers, this is the scholar of scholars, whom people knew as Mujaddid of the 14th century. Shaykhul Hind rahmatullahi alayhi, at the time, what is he saying? I've learned the lesson as to why the world is in discomfort and in disunity. Shaykhul Hind rahmatullahi alayhi gives two reasons. First one, he says, Tarkul Quran. Tarkul Quran means letting go of the Quran. And the second reason Shaykhul Hind rahmatullahi alayhi gives is that ikhtilaf between the Muslims, ikhtilaf between people, meaning lots of conflict between families, between brothers, between relatives, between community, between society. Look at the first point as to why Shaykhul Hind rahmatullahi alayhi says. Shaykhul Hind rahmatullahi alayhi says that I'm going to make it my life's objective until I die. Remember this, he's at the last stages of his life. He says, until I die, I'm going to do two things to solve the problem. Shaykhul Hind rahmatullahi alayhi says, to solve the problem of the disunity within the community, within the society, and also in dunya as the world. he's going to do two things. First thing he's going to do is establish Nazira, Quranic classes, makatibs, small institutes in every street corner. Subhanallah. Shaykh al-Hind rahmatullah alayhi says establishing small Quranic institutes on every street corner will solve the problem of the disunity in the world, the discomfort that we see. And the second thing that Shaykh al-Hind rahmatullah alayhi says is that establishing general public Quranic classes. What we have today, what you see today, what has happened today, this is not a special class. This is a public class. This is the class of Quran where the recitation of the Quran is being heard. And this is where Shaykh al-Hind rahmatullahi alayhi, he says, doing these two things, bringing people back to the Quran and establishing the Quran amongst the society, will resolve the problems that you and I face in our homes, in our communities, in our societies, and what we see across the globe. And Allah Rabbul Izzah himself, what does he say? He says in the Quran, وَمَنْ أَعْرَضَ عَنْ ذِكْرِي فَإِنَّ لَهُ مَعِيشَةً ضَنْكَ وَنَحْشُرُهُ يَوْمَ الْقِيَامَةِ أَعْمَى. Those people who have forgotten the tilawat, those people who have forgotten the Quran, those people who have abandoned the Quran, the dhikr of Allah, the remembrance of Allah, Allah Rabbul Izzah is going to let you go. وَمَنْ أَعْرَضَ, أَعْرَضَ means to let it go, to forget it, to just release it. That's reflection number one I wanted to share with you. That we need to encourage not just the youngsters, brothers and sisters. It's not just your children you need to encourage to recite the Quran. You and I, all of us need to connect with the Quran. The Quran has to be at the center of our home. How many brothers and sisters, how many mothers, how many fathers encourage your children to either recite Surah Yasin or to at least listen to Surah Yasin on a daily basis before you go to school? How many brothers and sisters? Come on. Not one? Subhanallah. Not one person, not one family. You've got Alexa at home. Who's got Alexa at home? Yes. You've got Alexa at home. There's these other ones, subhanallah. You know, you don't even have to type. You just call out to them and say, play Surah Yasin. Just play Surah Yasin for you. How hard can it be, brothers and sisters, for you to introduce Surah Yasin into your home first thing in the morning after Salatul Fajr, before your children go to school? Shaykh al-Hind rahmatullah alayhi, he told the entire ummah that's what we need to do. You and me can't even establish a simple thing, and we're out to try and resolve the atrocities that are happening to the brothers and sisters of Gaza. How can you and me fix the problems of our brothers and sisters, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala ease their pain and ease their suffering and grant them goodness, inshaAllah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make it easy for them and make their affairs easy for them. How can me and you want to do something for them when you and I can't even establish the Quran in our homes? So brothers and sisters, I want you to make a promise, first of all to yourself, then to your Lord, that going tomorrow, every single one of us will insha'Allah establish a small portion of Quran in our homes. Say insha'Allah. I want to say it loudly again. And one last time. May the angels be a witness to that promise that you have made, and for going forward we establish a small portion of Quran into our lives, inshaAllah. Now look at our lives. Second reflection I want to share with you. When you look at our lives, us as individuals, what is it that we want? If you ask our elders, they just say, listen, I want a peaceful retirement, and then I want to say Allah, Allah, and I just want to go. When you ask the middle-aged men who are, mashallah, thriving in their life, in the midst, when you ask mothers, when you ask sisters, what do you want in life? I want a nice mansion. I want a decent bank balance. I want a fat car. And if you're not married, then you want a handsome spouse, whether it's a male. If you're a man, for the brothers, you want a a beautiful wife, and if it's a female, if you're one of the sisters, you want a handsome man. That's the objective of what everyone wants. If you ask the youngsters, the contestants of today, what is it that you want in life? Everyone's going to say, I want to become the first, I want a prize. Every single person wants success in their life. That's one of the objectives of every single individual. Let me share with you what your life should look like, brothers and sisters. One of the final ahadiths, one of the hadiths that are mentioned in Sahih al-Bukhari, and I want us to draw really close to this. Before I say this in Bangla, বা ইংলিশে কইবার আগে বাংলায় আমি এক কথা কই আপনারা, খাসা ভাষায় একবারে খাসাও কইলাই, নানা বাড়ি কিন্তু হইতো না, নানাই না শোন, আমরা দেশে এক কথা কইন, সুরে সুরে আলী এক সুরে বিয়া করে আর এক সুরর শালি, এগুলো মানি কিতা? যার সুরর লগে থাকলে হে তোমারে চুরি করানি লইব, তোমারে দিয়ে চুরি করানি লইয়া আর হেসে কিতা করবো বলে আমার গিয়ে বিচার দিও না, তোমারে আমি কিন্তু একটা ফায়দা করাইয়া দিব, আর বাদে কিতা তার হালিরে তোমার কাছে বিয়া দেবাইব। বাদ মানুষের লগে চললে বাদ খামো ফরবায়, আর বালা মানুষের লগে চললে বালা খামো যাইবাই, ঠিক না বে ঠিক? তো ঠিক তেমনি ভাবে আমরা মানুষ বুঝিয়ে ওইটা মাতমাতি চল, সুরর লগে চললে চুরি করবায়, আর একজন কারির লগে একজন কোরআনুল হাফিজর লগে চললে তোমার ফয়ে যদি একটা বাচ্চা যদি সমাজে দেখেন, উদাহরণ দেই আপনারে, একটা বাচ্চা কোরআনের হাফিজ হইতে পারছে মাশাআল্লাহ, আপনার ফুয়ারে যদি ও ফুয়ার লগে আপনি শরিক রাখেন, জুড়াইয়া রাখেন, আপনার ফুয়া হাফিজ কিন্তু নাও হইতে পারে, কিন্তু অবশ্য কোরআনের মায়া মহব্বত তার মাঝে থাকবো। হ্যাঁ, কোরআনের হাফিজ না হইতে পারলে ফাতিহার হাফিজ হইব। ফাতিহার হাফিজ বুঝছেন নি? আমরা ইনো হলো ফাতিহার হাফিজ, সূরা ফাতিহা হলো তো চিনি নানি, মুখস্থ জানলে তো সূরা ফাতিহার হাফিজ আমরা হয়ে গেছি। What I was saying is that I want to share with you a story. One of the narrators of one of the hadiths of the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam goes by the name of Abu Zura' al-Bajali. Abu Zura', his grandfather was the famous Jarir ibn Abdullah. Jarir ibn Abdullah was the famous Sahabi who was a Sahabi. His grandson, Jarir ibn Abdullah's grandson is Abu Zura' al-Bajali. These are Yemenis. Jarir ibn Abdullah is from Yemen. Right at the end of the life of Abu Zura', right towards the end, this is his moments just before he passes away. He's right at the end part of his life, he's about to die. A man comes knocking on his door. And so his servants, they open the door, and then there's this commotion where this person that's come, he says, look, I've traveled 1,000 miles just to listen to a hadith from Abu Zurara, who is the grandson of Jarir ibn Abdullah. So he's got a stronger connection to the hadith. Okay? Now, this man is about to die. He's right at the verge of death, saqarat as we say. So Abu Zura', he calls him in, he says, okay, come. And he says, okay, narrate the hadith. Obviously you want the isnad, you want the chain of narration, so he says the hadith. The famous hadith, we've all heard this. من كان آخر كلامه ومن قال لا إله إلا الله دخل الجنة. So whoever says لا إله إلا الله will enter Jannah, or whoever's last words is لا إله إلا الله will enter Jannah, right? That's the hadith. But this narration that is mentioned from Abu Zura' al-Bajali, it only says man qala la ilaha illallah. It doesn't end. It just says that's it. It doesn't say any further. The hadith is man qala la ilaha illallah dakhala al-jannah. That's the full hadith. Ashal pura hadith hoise zain la ilaha illallah khoiliba thande jannat hoye jibo. Kintu Abu Zura'ar rasta ki je hadithor riwayat hoise ikano jannator matay na khali la ilaha illallah porjonto. The person, so the narration is, the person that narrated this, he says, and listen to this very carefully, brothers and sisters, that when he said, he was narrating the hadith to the student that came to listen, he said, man qala la ilaha illallah, there's no ending, right? He didn't finish it. He passed away as soon as he said la ilaha illallah. Mufti Jalil Ahmad Akun Sahab yesterday mentioned this in narration to this. He said that a person who commits his life with Quran will die upon the Quran. A person who commits his life upon hadith, and history proves it, will die upon hadith. And listen to this very carefully, brothers and sisters. A person who commits his life for the sake of Allah Rabbul Izzah, Allah will take you when He wants, because Allah will take you back to Him. And of an example, I will tell you, the most influential person, the top 500 Muslim, one of the most influential people in that category was a man by the name of Hazrat Maulana Yusuf Mutala Sahab rahmatullahi alayhi. Those of you that don't know Hazrat Ji, Hazrat established his, because me, people like me, I was not worthy, I'm not worthy to recite the Quran, I'm not worthy to recite the hadith of Rasulullah alayhi salatu wassalam. But because of visionaries like Hazrat Ji rahmatullahi alayhi, Hazrat Maulana Yusuf Mutala Sahab rahmatullahi alayhi dedicated his life, he gave his entire life for the ummah. Do you know what happened to him? Hazrat Maulana Yusuf Mutala Sahab rahmatullahi alayhi, the madaris, his legacy is in UK, Europe, everywhere, right? Do you know what happened to Hazrat Yusuf Mutala Sahab rahmatullahi alayhi? He went on travel. He went traveling, he went on a holiday to Canada. And Hazrat Maulana Yusuf Mutala Sahab rahmatullahi alayhi, whilst in Canada, he had a heart attack and he passed away. Middle of nowhere. His family is not around, his legacy, his madrasa, nothing's around. He's in a foreign land as a traveler amongst his students, and Allah decided to take him. And so just after Hazrat passed away, I went to Canada to do ziyarah, right? Subhanallah, Hazrat's grave is so simple. Nothing around Hazrat's grave, nothing. You couldn't even recognize, and he was a visionary. You know what that reminded me of, brothers and sisters? That reminds me of Imam Bukhari rahmatullahi alayhi. Imam Bukhari rahmatullahi alayhi, and I'll say this final point and we'll end inshallah. Imam Bukhari rahmatullahi alayhi was exiled from Nishapur and he went to Bukhara. In Bukhara, the governor of Nishapur wrote a letter to the governor of Bukhara, and he says, exile Imam Bukhari out of Bukhara, get him out. Imam Bukhari rahmatullahi alayhi was kicked out and exiled from Bukhara. Imam Bukhari rahmatullahi alayhi then went to Samarkand. In Samarkand, the governor of Bukhara writes a letter to the governor of Samarkand and says, get rid of Imam Bukhari rahmatullahi alayhi, exile him. Now the governor of Samarkand goes to Imam Bukhari rahmatullahi alayhi, says, out. Imam Bukhari rahmatullahi alayhi, listen to this, brothers and sisters. He says, listen, give me one chance, let me pray Salatul Eid. It's the next day morning. Let me at least pray Salatul Eid. They said, no, get out. Imam Bukhari rahmatullahi alayhi says, okay, give me one chance to at least let me gather my books. He had many books with him. He said, let me gather my books. He said, no, get out. Imam Bukhari rahmatullahi alayhi leaves. He goes just on the outskirts of Samarkand. Nowadays, still within the Samarkand area, Imam Bukhari rahmatullahi alayhi, he stops and he tells his students to go and get his books. His student goes back to get his books. When his student returns, this is the great Imam Bukhari rahmatullahi alayhi. He comes and he finds him laying in the middle of the road. Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. Imam Bukhari is gone. Middle of nowhere, no one to see him. I say this to you, brothers and sisters, to draw this point. You don't know how death will come to you. You don't know your legacy. You don't know what you're going to do. But if you connect with the Quran will build a great legacy for you, inshaAllah. And I'll end this by saying that Imam Suyuti rahmatullahi alayhi says that if you want to speak to Allah, pray your salah. But if you want to listen to Allah, read the Quran, because the Quran is the Kalamullah. And final point before I end, Allama Rumi rahmatullahi alayhi, I say this to the students of Quran. We're all students of Quran. All of you, how many of you are students of Quran? Right, all of us. Allama Rumi he says that you and I, we memorize the Quran. But you have to ask yourself, has the Quran memorized you? You and I have to live by the Quran. And on this I end by saying Subhanallah wa bihamdihi, Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdika, ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. Jazakallah khair for indulging me on these reflections, inshallah.